Taking a look at some of our Alaska news for this Thursday morning, June 22nd, 2017. The Supreme Court has heard some arguments in that PFD veto lawsuit. As you recall, basically the way the permanent fund dividend payout was set up, those who did it at the time believed that it was supposed to be an automatic, formulaic-driven, not governable by whims of politics of, well, you're going to get it this year or not. And two of the people who filed the lawsuit are former senators that were involved in that process. The third is a current senator. The lower court had tossed out the idea, basically saying, oh, the governor has veto power, end of discussion. They appealed to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court heard some of the rulings or some of the arguments this week, including that aspect of Alaska state law, which dictates how the permanent fund is supposed to be paid out and how the governor struck that out on his veto. So basically they're saying the governor is ignoring the law. We'll see how it all plays out, because basically the legislature and the governor are planning on using permanent fund earnings. If the Supreme Court says this is not legal, it's going to throw everything into the crapper. A recall election is going to be held on August 15th in Haines. 3 borough members up for recall for apparently doing some business with each other outside of borough office hours, not in the where they could be heard by other borough members. It's all that whole conflict of interest thing. They're being held to account for it, and there will be an election on August 15th. The state of Alaska's credit rating has been placed on a negative credit watch. S&P warning once again of a possible downgrade because we need, quote, fiscal reform. That woman who was shot last week accidentally down in Anchorage, remember the fellow was at a party and he shot the gun accidentally. It went up through the floor, hit the woman. She's paralyzed from the waist down. And so it looks like this fellow's facing the charges for assault. But to think that an accidental shooting could cause somebody, obviously, permanent bodily harm it's horrifying. The Fairbanks School Board has decided to cut custodians but preserve social workers, as they're looking at cuts that have already been made from the borough and now also the possibility of more cuts coming from the state. And a man has been officially charged for a murder that happened back in 2015, double homicide of a Wasilla couple. This happened on the Denali Highway, which goes in between the Parks Highway and the Richardson Highway down across through Paxton, that area. Anyway, not a lot of details yet about it, but why it took almost 2 years to charge the guy, it's kind of puzzling. The Mat-Su has approved new building requirements for flood zones. And I don't know if you've ever been to Dawson City, that very famous Sourtoe cocktail. It's basically they serve you a drink of alcohol with a severed human toe in it, mummified, of course. Well, the toe has been stolen. And there's many more stories than we have time for. As always, we'd like to invite you to become a subscriber at radiofreespeech.com. All my paid subscribers get 30 to 40 minutes of audio news delivered right through their inbox every morning. That means that they can listen to it on their way to work. Check it out for yourself, radiofreespeech.com.